Hey everyone, my name is Kaby, this is kabyraGe, and today we are going to watch the game I played earlier today against an opponent called Habibneil. That is a good player, and I think that last time or probably a few times I lost to this guy, so this is why I was interested. I was thrilled to play and decided to use a strong strategy, but at the same time I wanted to keep experiments with the mass air strategies and see if I'll be able to take down this kind of opponent of this level of strength with a mass air, starting with aeronauts and then to see what's going on, what's gonna happen, considering the fact that the opponent this time around is playing light. In the previous video we only considered mass aeronauts in the dark against dark matchup, and obviously the light against dark is the different beast, because light have archers, 11 archers, which are in the position exactly between the skeleton archers and the X-Masters, so you can get them significantly faster and you can get more of those. So they counter aeronauts better, considering to both of the dark units, and the light faction also has bikers and the snipers, so all in all they have more options against air. So this might be more difficult, but anyways, basically I play the same thing, the same idea. It is a strategy using the 10 workers, so I was up to 20 foot before getting the second tier of the citadel, and then I get 2 goons, and I cancel the third goon to be able to place the 2 workshop quicker. I will not have enough resources for the immediate 2 workshops, but it won't take much time for me to get enough, to earn enough. So I am almost there, and here comes the second one. Just a few seconds gap between the production buildings. And for some weird reason my opponent doesn't scout as well. Well, actually I do scout, so it's just my opponent doesn't scout. And I come and pretty much I already witnessed and figured out his strategy, which is, it seems quite obvious that he is gonna play the fast princess, the trending build currently, because princess received a lot of buffs and her passive ability was fixed as well. So princess works quite fine. She's fast, she's strong, she has magic damage, which is a good thing to have against the early units, but not exactly when the opponents play an aeronauts, because as I mentioned many times previously, aeronauts are mech, so they have a good resistance against magic damage. So princess, even though she can attack air, she's not exactly good against it. So here is the trick, where's been this swordsman dwelling all this time. He was just capturing the watchtower. I found a little trick how to remember word of watchtower. Just think of Bob Dylan. So whenever I wanna again call this monstrous construction of the observation tower, I just tell to myself, man, think of Bob Dylan, and here comes all along the watchtower in my mind, and I can recall the word of watchtower. Sometimes it's a slightly difficult task to recall in English words, but anyways, I hope I do better with making more videos, and it's one of the purposes of doing those. So what happened in the game is exactly what I anticipated, because I saw the infantry, and that clearly meant that the opponent's gonna play archers. So it it's obvious that I can't push him with the aeronauts even out of the two workshops, but what I can do is to make him sit in the base, being afraid of my air units, and that could possibly let me get both chests, but that trick didn't work because Habibneil wisely moved out with his princess only. So he took the chest with the princess, and he controls my aeronauts with the main army. Probably I could force an engagement and I would be able to kill those 4 archers, but then 1 or 2 more would come, and eventually he would clear my army, and I don't really want to trade. I don't really want to trade aeronauts for archers because they're significantly more expensive, and here I make a mistake and losing 1. In the meantime, I do pretty much the same thing I was describing in the previous video. In case you guys missed that, it is adding the goblin lab and start adding the bombers to this simple composition, so it becomes not pure mass aeronauts, but aeronauts with the bombers. So in that composition, all you have to do is pretty much focus fire bombers on the right targets. If you can also use the magic scrolls, and I already added the mana tower, and I'm gonna get this elemental. That was a mistake to spend a bomber on it, but I wasn't quick enough to notice that in time. And I'm also getting the 3rd tier, the 3rd mana tower, because I want to be able to get above the 100 mana to be able to use the Circle of Fire or probably the Meteorite. I also for a long time have an idea of testing aeronauts under the defense scroll, but probably that's not too important because we are gonna soon divide the scrolls into the 2 factions and the defense will go for light, while the Circle of Power will go for dark, but a Circle of Power will also be reworked very soon, because we are going to remove the critical damage chance and trade it for the critical damage itself, critical damage buff. In fact, it was planned as this originally, but then for some reason we made it vice versa and we left it for some time, but now we don't really think that it was the right course, so we are gonna revert it. And all in all, playing dark right now, I don't see the reason to use either defense or a Circle of Power, because both of those will change significantly soon. So I prefer to test something which is valuable, because I'm not just a player who's willing to win, but I'm also the dev, the part of the dev team who wanna spend his time testing something which is significant. So that's why I'm not gonna use those scrolls, and I'm gonna use the Circle of Fire, which is gonna go for the dark faction in the future. Probably it's not coming too soon on the production server though, because it still will take some time to polish everything and visuals and assets and stuff like that. But anyways, I gathered quite a bit. You could have noticed that I also added here altar as well as the dark gate. So I'm gonna get a couple of necromancers, and here is my favorite part. It is the misclick petrol, but I was able to fix that rather quickly. I'm gonna get my mana well back, even though now I'm maxed out, but I'll need more mana soon after using 1 scroll. And here I have already a necromancer. I was running low on lumber, but I had a lot of gold, so it wasn't a problem. But initially I added the dark gate to be able to use the venom spears later. But now I also don't have a spare foot, so I'm just starting in damage and see how this bomber works. That was a perfect explosive, and my enemy lost all of his archers immediately. He either didn't know how to micro or didn't pay attention to this fight, but both of those goals were definitely wrong, and that lets me to get a lot of skeleton warriors, and this is very useful in this position because I mostly play air, and that means that I have a lot of free units to control the spots, such as the chests and the mana wells and so on. I'm also getting the 4th farm in a slightly dangerous position because I could block off my own hero when I will be finally getting it. I'm still not getting it because I still don't have the 4th farm. It really took a long time. I should have paid more attention to that. Okay, my opponent's controlling the watchtower with a swordsman, so I'm not getting it with a skeleton warrior. And same goes for this right part of the map position, so I'm moving to that part with my army because the mana well is an important spot to control. And I'm thinking what I'm gonna do next, and I still have an idea of getting Venom Spectres later, but I don't have a lot of resources currently, so I just keep producing and spamming things I already have on the map. Also send over the other skeleton warrior because I didn't notice why did it not make it, but I just remember that there was a swordsman, so that's why I told that to you. Okay, here it is. And I don't really want to fight here because he has a lot of archers with the aura of the human monument, so that means the crit chance buff and crit damage buff, so it's gonna be a bad trade. So I pull back for now. I'm not even maxed out yet, so I'm gonna get my alchemist out first and get more tech, and only then I'm gonna trade. But now I see that his princess went out, so he doesn't have hero, and that means that position becomes slightly better. I use a meteor. Well, meteor will go for light, but anyways I decided to use it here. Many archers are low now, and when the archers are low, aeronauts can deal with them because they have a good attack range, not as good as archers, but still something, and they can stack better than the ground units, so they can take down the targets quickly. And I also have 4 necromancers, that's probably too much for now. We are gonna soon introduce the new necromancers that will able to attack. We'll make a presentation, I think, soon, so you'll be able to find out what exactly it will be like. But in general, having 4 necromancers will make sense. Currently it doesn't, so it's clearly a mistake for me to do that much. 1 or 2 will be enough in any game, as per right now. So, well, in any 1v1 game, because if you have a team fight, that probably can make sense. Now I see that I pretty much lost everything I had on the ground, so I've got to pull back so that I don't lose even more. I'm low on food. I mean, I have a lot of food, a lot of max food, but I don't have a lot of army, so I need to replenish my army size. And now I see that I upgraded the Dark Gate, but I didn't upgrade the Undead Obelisk, and that means that I still can't hire more Venom Spectres, but those are soon to come. But, well, not really that soon, because it takes around a minute to upgrade an Undead Obelisk, but anyway, at least now it's gonna happen, because I paid attention and made it. And I never upgrade the workshop, as you can see, because I just keep spamming those aeronauts, and that is the experiment part of the game, so I just wanna see if that might work. But I added more stuff, obviously, because light is strong against air, so I'm using slight tweaks to make my army fit better. I add an alchemist, I also add zombies, I'm gonna add venom specters to reject any healing, but generally it's still army based on the mass air. And it is almost 15th minute mark, so I'm gonna fight for the chests. The right one and the left one are already under my control, so the trick is about getting the mid one. Habibneil did a good split this time, so I can't damage all of his units with the run of fire, but at least I can damage some. And I can try to get a couple of zombies, probably. I used a hold position of one of my necromancers so that he would be getting the chests. And now all the well, not all the 3 chests, but the 2 chests are mine. Something went wrong with the right one. I'm not sure what happened. I'm trying to send another skeleton archer to that position, and at the same time I'm advancing on his position, because his army should be really exposed right now. We see that he doesn't cover this exact zone with the man towers. I use the defense on the zombies. Well, I already say that it doesn't make many sense to use defense on the dark, but well, I used it, zombies made even more zombies, and my opponent tapped out. So, as you can see, this mass air strategy can use even against light, so you can practice it, and if you're only starting to learn the game, this might be a good strategy to start with, because it's not really complicated to play. You don't really need to do a lot of fancy and difficult micro, and it can really bring you wins, so make sure to try it out and let me know if it works, and I'll wrap it for today. Thank you for watching and see you in the next videos. Bye bye.